Not
a quarter
roosters.
of an acre is
Not
what I read on their website.
A quarter of an acre, is that what it says?
Yeah.
I was just going to add, for people that are just starting to, getting chicks or hatching your own eggs sometimes can be a problem because you may end up with more roosters. So it's good to either get them as a young adult, because you have to have a certain ratio. You need at least maybe 1 rooster to 7 hens. But it is good to let them fertilize eggs too and make some really nice eggs.
That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up, because we bought chicks, and a couple of them were roosters, and then we also bought laying hens, and we also put roosters in there. So we have about 23 hens and a few roosters now. But the hens were being plucked by the roosters because
you got too many.
The roosters mate, and so then they pluck them off when they do
the
their
roosters
thing.
when they're breeding, they pluck the hens' feathers out, and so you got to be careful because you can do damage. The way with us, just to kind of tell you, so we started with these little baby chicks. They were $2. You buy them here at the local feed store, and anything in its early stages is most vulnerable to heat, to cold, to disease. With chicks, you got to be careful with. There's a thing called pasting.
Oh, yeah.
When they go to the bathroom, if it bunches up and it turns into it looks like a paste basically, and it covers their vent, you got to be, look at them so that you can clean that off, because if they can't go to the bathroom, it's going to cause them to get sick and die. And so there's just a few precautions with baby chicks. They need the right temperature. I think they say you start off in around 99 degrees or somewhere around there, and you lower it like a degree a day or
Well, don't make it overwhelming.
Oh no, I'm just saying. But yeah, you can do some research.
Put them in a box with a heat lamp.
But yeah, you have a heat lamp, and here's the thing: if they're cold, they'll go to it, and if they're hot, they'll go away. You just gotta be mindful of it. You be mindful if there's a little pasting. We've had 2, I think, that pasted, and just for a few days, you just pull it off, and then they
Oh, you pull it off of what?
Out of their vent, like where they go to the bathroom.
Because their
He's
vent?
calling it a vent.
Yeah,
their butt. Their butt will get pasted.
Their butt will get pasted, yeah.
So you just pick them up and look at it, and
pick
then
them up. You go, oh, they're good.
You
Whatever.
go, oh, it's pasty.
Yeah. Okay. So you take a Q-tip.
What does that look like? Like a paste?
It looks like if you
Or
took
is it caked on?
It's
like a
caked
dry
on.
little caked on section on their butt,
Oh.
and what it's doing is their feathers got like dried,
toothpaste.
toothpaste, and so it's covering up their butt, and they can't go poop.
Their vent.
So you turn it over, and you see that. It's just like one little thing to be mindful of.
How'd you learn that?
That's very cute.
We read about it.
Yeah, just read about it. And so
Okay.
that's kind of what these are.
Google and YouTube got us up on a farm with chicken and pigs and cows.
So is it what's better, to get the chicks or to get hens?
It depends on what you want. It was fun for us, for the boys, to be having baby chicks run around and learning all the stages. And then the hens had just barely started laying when we moved up to Palm Desert, and we thought,
Up to Anza.
from Palm Desert up to Anza. And we thought, you know what, let's just get laying hens. So you can go on Craigslist and look at laying hens, who's selling what. And that was great for us. It, doubled our chickens, and we didn't have to worry about the baby chicks.
If you're all ready to go, and you've got a coop set up, you've got an area set up, and you're just ready for eggs, and you're ready, that's fine. You can go find somebody that's selling some laying hens. Usually they're about anywhere from $8 to $10 to $15, depending on who you find per hen.
Okay.
And you can go check them out, and if they look healthy and they look happy, if they're combs, which is the red thing on their head, as they get older, they start to hang over more, and they start to set. So you look for a nice, you want one that's just started laying maybe in its first year, so you can get some life out of it. If you want to take that experience and learn a little bit as they get bigger, and we call them our OGs because they're our original chickens, and we love those guys. We'd never if one of them's not around, we're like, where's one of the OGs? You can't find them.
Yeah.
We've had them since they were little, so you get a little friendship kind of thing or something. But
Also, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I had a neat experience when we were back in Colorado, because we just had a couple hens, and one of the hens, as they would be laying eggs, one hen never wanted to get out of the nest. She really wanted to sit on eggs, And so we thought about that and thought, well, we really could use some more little chickens. And so we got some little baby chickens, and I lifted her up for a minute, and Richard put the eggs in there. put little baby chicks in there. She was laying on eggs, and we took the eggs out and put the chicks in. And then without her saying it, I kind of like just stuck her back on the nest. And, and I just shut the hen house door, and I thought, it's survival of the fittest. And so 10 minutes later, I opened, and there she was. At first, she was like cackling or what. She didn't know what to make of it. And then it was the cutest thing, because here were these 5 little baby chickens, and she thought she hatched them all. So here she go around and with her little line of little, and it was the neatest thing, because it was the mama, and so she totally took care of them. I didn't have to worry about a heat light, because she had them all under her wings.
Perfect.
Nature is
And yet we
amazing.
just bought them and put them under the, it kind of tricked the mother hen.
Nature just naturally does so many things that we try and do. I mean, those of you who have horses, there's people that don't have blankets for their horses. They just, they give them shelter and they give them stuff, but they let their ears get all thick and furry, and they get these woolly coats. And nature does wonderful things, if, one of the things about hens, if you're going to buy a laying hen and you want her to be, it's called being broody. Because of all the commercial things that have gone on, it's kind of been bred down. And so some hens will not, we've got 20 some odd hens, and there's probably only 4 or 5 that you'll regularly see hanging out in that coop sitting on eggs. They're broody. They want those, that means they want those eggs to get nice and warm and turned, and they want to hatch them. A lot of the chickens we have, they don't even care. They just go out and they pluck and they eat, and they so there's different qualities you want out of that.
And one thing I was going to say about animals too is we get so emotionally attached, like worried about, oh, is it okay? Are they warm enough? Are they're too cold in the snow? Animals need food, water, and shelter. And
those are the 3 basics.
Their instincts take over the rest. It's amazing. And also, I didn't know this when we got chickens, but chickens don't need a rooster to lay an egg. Chickens are just born to lay an egg a day. Either an egg a day or egg every day and a half, kind of timing-wise. So I didn't know that.
So you don't need a rooster. You can still have some hens and get eggs from them. The only difference is if you try to incubate them, or she was broody and she wanted to try and make them hatch, they're not fertile, so they wouldn't hatch. But so with the baby chicks, if you go that route, the feed stores have little medicated, feed, or it's like a little medicated powder you can put into the water the first couple weeks of their life, and that'll help give their immunizations and stuff, give their body some strength to fight off any diseases that might have. Other than that, as far as feeding chicks go, like almost all these things, you can find where it says a full-grown hen needs 1/4 pound a day. Well, you can do all that measurement, but you can kind of keep that in mind. But if the chicks leave and there's still food in there, then you've given them a little more than they needed. If they've eaten all the little bits of it and they're seeming like they're still hungry, then they needed a little more. You can kind of play. You don't have to feel like everything has got to be a science down to the T. And then what if I do it wrong? And am I going to overfeed the chicken? He's going to die. And it's not that precise, I guess is the word. You have some. They'll help teach you while you're doing it,
But what do you feed them? Do you just let them roam, or is there a...
No, we feed them chicken food.
When they're little, if you get little, there's called like a chick mash, and it's just a powdery. It's got all their nutrients that they need, and because when they're little, you don't want to put them outside. There's predators, bigger birds. If it's too cold, you want to keep them indoors and protected while they're little. And there's a special feed that you go to any, like a feed store, Dan's Feed or Big Horse, and they'll sell you bags of them. And when they're little, it's just a little chick mash or whatever.
And ask people, like ask the guy at the feed store. Say, I'm new to this. I'm just getting baby chicks for the first time. What do I need? And they'll totally tell you.
As they get bigger, you can give them, when they get to that point where they're starting to lay eggs, they actually sell a special lay, like a lay mash or a lay crackette or crumble. And then chickens love scratch, which is kind of a lot of the same nutrients, basically a corn base. It's just little pebbles. And you can take that scratch and throw it out, and if you have them like in your backyard or something, you can throw it out in the backyard. They love to go looking for it and pecking. It just literally makes them happy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they love to do. They love to take their feet and peck around for stuff. So you can fill up their, for full-grown hens and stuff like what we have, we take a can and we mix half of it with a layer crackhead, which is just a type of food. The stores sell it. It gives them extra things so their egg shells are nice, and it gives them all the nutrients they need while they're laying. Imagine laying an egg a day. It's going to take a lot of their, you know, nutrients out, so they need to really have some good stuff. So it's a lay crackhead. We mix it 50-50 with a lay crackhead and scratch. And then we take, you know, a handful of oyster shell, we mix it all in there, and the oyster shell makes their eggs nice and hard. I remember one time I think I was picking up an egg, and it fell from like this high onto the ground, and it didn't crack. But, you know, they've got extra nutrients to help make those eggs strong, you know.